How's it going, guys? It's the final render here and welcome to a very special video. Today on the 27th of December it is the 1 year anniversary of Fallout 4 Building with Mods. It's quite bizarre to say that we have been doing that show for a year now. Not long ago we actually celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the channel itself, but now we are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Fallout 4 Building with Mods. And to celebrate this fantastic occasion, I thought why not bring you kind of a behind the scenes video on how I make Fallout 4 Building with Mods. We're going to talk about some of the equipment I use, we're going to talk about how you actually film in Fallout 4, and also how I go about the long editing process of the videos, because the editing process is definitely the most fun thing for me, and the longest thing is definitely the actual filming itself. So, if you guys are a fan of the video, thanks very much for enjoying the video, and if you're a fan of Fallout 4 Building with Mods, thanks very much guys. So much stuff has happened to me which wouldn't have been able to have happened if Fallout 4 Building with Mods wasn't as successful as it's been. So, thanks very much for watching this video guys, and I hope you enjoy it. In order to record Fallout 4 Building with Mods, I used the AVerMedia Game Capture HD2. This is a fantastic little hardware box which enables you to record your computer game without actually connecting it to a computer. It works via having a USB 3.0 port in the front, and with that you are able to record your game without ever inputting any lag onto your PC, since everything is done hardware side, and it is fantastic for that reason. I also go ahead and record to this Porsche design 3TB external hard drive, and since everything is USB 3, it means I can record flawless 1080p 30 frames a second without ever needing to interrupt my computer at all. So what are some of the console commands you'll need to film? Well, firstly, using TFC, you are able to get the free camera, so you can move the camera out as much as you want in the game and get all the shots you need for your scene, but you'll actually notice is that the default speed is very quick. So how do we change that? Using SUCSM and then a number to dictate the speed, you can change the speed that the camera actually moves at, 1 being the slowest, and I believe the default speed is 20. I always use an Xbox 360 controller in order to film my scenes because you are able to get very smooth movements, much smoother than if you were using the buttons on the keyboard, which are just on or off, whereas an analog stick is variable. And now you'll probably also want to get rid of the menus and the HUD by using the TM command. And those are the basic commands you need in actually to film your scene. You can change the speed of the camera, you can activate the camera, and get rid of the menus. So now you are ready to film whatever you need. Another useful thing is FOV, your field of view. You can change this by using the command FOV and then apply a number to it. The higher the number you apply, the wider your camera shot. I believe the default view in Fallout 4 is 80 or 85, but you can actually work with the numbers to get the exact zoom level you want, and this is perfect for making some of those really nice, tight, smooth movement shots, rather than just moving the camera in closer. And also, something which is very important is, guys, fill your frame with stuff in your shot, and also have parallax. Have stuff in the foreground and the background, and have your camera go in between objects. It makes your shots look so much better. And also, people have said, Final Render, how come you don't use all of the hotkeys and place everywhere to place all of the objects in your build? Well, firstly, I never actually learned to use those. I learned the original way, which is this way, by using the console command. And not only can I place the objects that way, but I can also rotate my character, so that when I'm trying to get a shot of the character, I can just use the console command, and that way I don't have to learn two sets of hotkeys. I can just use the same system for adjusting my character and adjusting the objects inside the building video. So when we are in Premiere Pro, the first thing I will do is go through all of the footage in order and then set the in and out points and drag them down onto the timeline. I've always got a pretty good idea of how long the shots need to be, just a couple seconds or so, 4 or 5 seconds for each shot, and then I will be able to go in and fine tune them later towards the music. And it's a very good way to do it this way, because since I've already got a pretty good idea of what bits of footage need to be from every shot inside the edit, it means I can very quickly get the whole thing assembled. Although that being said, whilst it is a quicker way of doing it, it still is a lengthy process to do the entire thing. But I actually do go in and fine tune it later on, and it's actually a really good way to do it this way. And this is why you don't want to overshoot everything you film. When you are recording all of your footage, make sure you only shoot what you need or as little as you need in order to get the edit going. Because if you just spend the entire time filming for an hour non-stop, you will end up with a 1 hour long video clip, and it takes an awful long time to manually go in and get all of the shots you need from that entire hour's worth of footage. But if you only shoot it in little sections, little shots, then you are able to assemble your edit this way, and it is a much easier and much more organized way to edit as opposed to going in with one really long shot. And to tell you the truth, it works out really well as well, because you can very quickly start to get the flow of the edit while you are filming, and it makes the whole thing much easier. One thing to keep in mind though, whilst this is very organised, it is still definitely the longest part of the edit, just getting everything assembled and ready to go. And once the assembly edit is done and all of the shots that need to be in there are in there and in their correct order, it is time to add the music. I always add the music at this part because this is when I start to fine tune the edit and tidy it up an awful lot. Because seeing as I was just setting the in and out points of the previous shots, it means that whilst everything is in order and displayed correctly, it means that some shots are just too long. Sometimes there will be a shot which is about 5 or 6 seconds long, when in reality it only needs to be about 2 seconds long. And the best way to kind of fix this is to set yourself the goal of making it match the beat of the music. Not only does it actually make it quite enjoyable to watch because it's kind of like a music video and it means it's constantly going forward and constantly improving with the speed of the video, etc. It just makes it a really nice, easy way to make your video much tidier. Because generally speaking, videos are always going to be too long when you first assemble them. They are always going to be too long. And just going in this way and trimming maybe 2 seconds off a shot, 3 seconds of a shot, sometimes you're only trimming about half a second off a shot. And whilst that doesn't seem much, over the course of maybe a 25-minute video assembly edit, just trimming those little bits of seconds every now and then means you could shave like 5 minutes off the video. And I've always thought that my videos are too long, so therefore going in this way and trying to make them as short as possible by making them match the music not only makes the video more fun to watch, but it's also a really good way to tidy it up. It's kind of giving yourself a kind of guide in order to make it tidy. And whilst you do have to trim your footage to a degree, that is not the same as cutting stuff out in order to make it match. If there is something which needs to be in the video, it needs to be in the video. Don't cut it out just to make it match the music. But maybe kind of give yourself a discipline to say, even though I'm really proud of this shot I did, maybe I don't need to have the entire shot in there. Maybe if I make it shorter, it will be better overall for the video. And it's about that discipline of kind of making yourself get rid of the stuff you would really like to keep in order to make the video better as a whole. This is easily the most fun part of making Fallout 4 building with mods, just going in and making everything match the music, and it's a really good way of making it tidy and an efficient video overall. And now it's time to go in and add all of the mod titles to the video. And this can be a lengthy process depending on how many mods you have, but it is a very quick and easy way to do it the way I'm going to show you now. I'm going to be using the dynamic link with After Effects, and with this very simple template, all I've got to do is put in the correct name of the new mod and scale it so that it actually matches and looks tidy, and then I can drag and drop all of them in just by searching for the name of the composition from After Effects. And because I do it this way, it means that that template has got hundreds of mods in there, all of which are correct and can be dropped into the edit at any time I want to use those mods, old or new. And I also go ahead and add any new mods to a notepad file, and that means that when I'm writing the descriptions of the YouTube video, I have got the exact name of the mod, and I have also got the Nexus download link in there, so I have always got a way to access any of the mods that I want to feature inside a video. This can be a lengthy process depending on how many mods you have, but really, if we are making videos on mods, we have got to actually feature the mods in some way. And doing it this way with this template is a very quick and efficient way of adding these titles in, and being able to change them at any point is an absolute godsend. And now the titles are in place, it is time to do the audio commentary. I always need to have the titles in there first so I know what I'm talking about when I'm doing the live commentary. And I always go with a live commentary because I feel as if it adds more life to it. I have tried scripted ones, but it always sounds very deadpan to me. So now I should go ahead and open up Audacity, and I use Audacity because it's got some really good noise reduction features in there, which I need. Seeing as I use a Blue Yeti microphone, often it does kind of pick up on the very low hums of my computer fans, and whilst it is very minor, it is something that annoys me, so I use Audacity, and then I can remove that quite effectively because I'm recording in 96K straight out of Audacity. And then really it's just about me just trying it out until I can get an actual usable take. It often does take me multiple takes in order to do a live commentary run on it, and often there are some silly mistakes. Up and tell you the truth, it still works pretty well. And now using Nav... But overall, we end up with a pretty good live commentary track that sounds as clean as I can make it with my current audio setup. And now the audio commentary is in check, it is time to add one more thing to the video, and that is these kind of flash clips that you can see in between certain scenes. The reason I add these is because it kind of helps break up the individual sections of the video, almost kind of like chapters in a story, so that when you see that flash clip, it is a way to kind of signify that we have moved on to the next part of the build. Not only that, but they are really good for hiding any kind of sudden cuts which you often get when you transition from one scene to another. And they are very little simple things. They were given to me at an old job I used to work at, and they are just little kind of flashes of colour, and when you add them as a screen overlay, then you are able to get a nice little transition into the next scene. And once those flash clips are in there, it's just about watching through the video a few times, fixing any kind of minor errors, and then hitting the final export button. So there we go, that was the behind the scenes special of Fallout 4 Building with Mods. Guys, I've got to say it every single time we reach a kind of milestone like this, thanks so much for enjoying the videos and tuning in. There are so many videos on YouTube which you guys can watch, and I'm so thankful that you guys have taken some of the time out of your day to watch some of my videos. It really is greatly appreciated, and it's just such good fun for everyone involved. I love making them, and I'm sure you guys probably enjoy watching them if you've been sticking around for so long. So, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and a like, leave a comment if you're new or even if you're old, and until next time, see you around. This has been the final render, and you have been the audience.